Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so nice to be here. It's quiet, it's beautiful. The sun is shining, the grass is green. It's so lovely. Yesterday, September 11th, it was September 11th yesterday, we've been, at least I've been, like probably most of you, at least catching some of the videos and memories and so forth of September 11th. It's very, very difficult to go back 20 years ago because it's like yesterday, like it just happened yesterday. So today's talk is on infinity, and I hope it inspires all of you. So this is the infinity according to Agni Yoga. When you study the teachings of Agni Yoga, the teachings of living ethics, it readily becomes apparent that you are not studying about life coming to an end, but about the continuity of life, that life is continual. Life changes forms, but it continues endlessly. The greatest incentive we can have as human beings is the vision of infinity. The teaching of living ethics inspires us to strive toward that vision. To help us better understand infinity, there are certain expressions found in the writings of Agni Yoga which not only reminds us of this vision, but inspires us to strive. Expressions such as ever-renewing opportunity, space, limitlessness, endlessness on the path of expansion, and the possibility of ever progressing unfoldment. These are terms, expressions, phrases that you will find in the many books on Agni Yoga. So, infinity. Infinity means continuity. It also implies immortality. Infinity is the next plane, the next dimension, a more subjective dimension about which we have some information but no control yet. Understanding and striving toward infinity expands our consciousness, our awareness and realization without losing our present beingness. Infinity is limitless striving to surpass our former achievements. I'm going to repeat this because it's so important to keep the balance and perspective and understanding, truly understanding infinity and its relationship to us in the present. Infinity is limitless striving to surpass our former achievements and enter new fields of realization. Enter new fields of realization. It was like this morning's meditation, having us visualize a mountain, sitting at the base of the mountain and then climbing to the summit. It took me back to when I was in Darjeeling a few years ago, and I had looked out the window of where I was staying, opened up the shutters and looked out to the Kanchenjunga Mountains. It took my breath away. The beauty took my breath away, especially because we could see the mountains. Typically, smog early in the morning, or the clouds, not smog, but the clouds descend over the mountains and you cannot see them. But something extraordinary happened that day, according to the villagers, saying, "We don't know why you can see the Kanchenjunga Mountains. This is not the time of year to see them." So I was in the meditation, I was thinking about, how am I going to climb to the summit of the Kanchenjunga Mountains? Well, this is what meditation does. You think about infinity. You're not anchored any longer to your physical form. And for the first time, I finally got to the summit of the Kanchenjunga Mountains. Even when you're there, you're not going to be there because you can't breathe at the top of the Kanchenjunga Mountains. It's 27,000 feet high in altitude. Yeah, so I had a great time in meditation this morning. I finally got to the top of the Kanchenjunga Mountains. Infinity is limitless striving. See, isn't that beautiful? There is infinity within us and infinity within the cosmos. For the average thinking person, everything is an end in itself, for the average thinking person. But for an advancing thinking person, everything is a step leading to something else. Everything exists to form a part of our ever-expanding whole. Infinity challenges limitless, endless striving. What is striving? Striving has basically two phases. The first phase is to perfect ourselves. People who are not really working to perfect themselves are in the process of spiritually dying, no matter what they demonstrate in their outer lives. There's a discipline found in the teaching of living ethics that tells us to perfect ourselves is called self-perfectment. Self-perfectment. For example, to pay attention to what we say, to what comes out of our mouth, and also our thoughts. Now, thoughts. Thoughts are electrical in nature. The speed of thought transcends the speed of light and sound. The charge of our thoughts varies according to the enthusiasm of our human soul. This is another sentence I'm going to repeat so you really think about it. The charge of our thoughts, electrical charge of our thoughts, varies according to the enthusiasm of our soul. Remember, the thought is a current of energy charged with our intentions and purpose. The power of thought not only creates or transforms, but it can also destroy. It is, the teaching specifically says, it is only through thought, by the heart, that brings joy and blessing. When a person thinks, they should first ask themselves, is my thought leading to beauty, to unity, to freedom, to wholeness? Is my thought leading to beauty, to unity, to freedom, to wholeness? was interesting on the way out to Isvara this morning. I was listening to NPR, and there was a woman that was being interviewed that had written a book about gratitude. And you could see she wasn't integrated. She had a personality that was still very much anchored and rooted to negative thinking and depression. But she wrote a beautiful book. And so the interview was about what was in the book, but the interviewer wanted something personal from her to make, the interview more interesting. And she was talking about waking up to depression and not having the energy to get the day going, and on and on and on. And she said, and then she started talking about the contents of the book. So I realized that what she wrote in that book, as beautiful as it was, she hadn't yet manifested in her life yet. So it was there, the hope is there, the desire is there, and I really hope she makes it, because what she wrote was beautiful, at least what she shared she had written in the book. So I was thinking how difficult it is, even though we want our thoughts to lead to beauty and to unity and to wholeness and to freedom, it is very difficult. And since we are preparing for our Agni Yoga class Monday night, I've been focused a lot on the process of thought, because thought is one of the key practices to practicing Agni Yoga. So I've become increasingly aware of my thoughts. It's like, oh, woe is me. Just like this writer on gratitude. So I've learned to start with the smallest of thoughts. And in that process of trying to change a negative thought, how difficult it is, I decided to write it down. And because most of us, I think, are visual learners. And so writing that thought down of not the negative, but the positive, I found that was really instrumental and helpful in this process of charging my thoughts with beauty and unity and freedom and wholeness. So I felt like I made a personal revelation. So I'm going to go back here. When a person thinks, when we think, we should ask ourselves, is my thought leading to beauty, to unity, to freedom, to wholeness? If the answer is yes, we should continue our way of thinking. If the answer is no, we should stop and change our thinking. And that's where I wrote down the change. Looked at it, and, okay, now I can do this. I can do this. It is important to know that our thoughts are not kept in our head. Immediately when we think, our thoughts become property of space. We may plant beautiful flowers in space, or throw germs and pollution in space through our thoughts. One day a child asked a great sage, what am I going to be 10 years from now? A teenager. 20 years later, a man or a woman. 2,000 years later, maybe a great artist, a statesman, an initiate, or a master. Is that the end? No. You will face a challenge to expand your consciousness and talents to work in the solar system, in our galaxy, in cosmos. I like that. Then you must work for it. For half an hour, Agni Yoga teaching says, think about a bright future in which you bloom in all your beauty for half an hour, in which all plans to serve others comes into reality, in which you surpass yourself continuously toward infinity. The second phase of striving gives us strength to detach from all of our vanities, possessions, our weird, strange, and ornery behaviors, even our materialism. The second phase of striving, of detachment, it occurs on the astral plane. I bet you didn't think about that. It all occurs on the astral plane. So it is very difficult because it is the process of detaching from all of those things that we have convinced ourselves that we are. Where we are buried up to our necks in our materialism, our ego, money, properties, houses, and so forth. This struggle takes place in the astral world. But it is a striving that we started here, while in our body, in this world, which will propel us through the astral plane to the higher worlds. So this is the second phase of striving. We need to teach about infinity and aspiration. Aspiration is a sudden feeling that there is a magnet that is pulling us up. That's aspiration. We are inspired, something inspires us. That is not aspiration. It's like inspiration opens the door. Listening to a piece of music. It's like back in the day when I was sitting in the middle of an orchestra playing a violin under the baton of a great composer and musician and conductor who happened to be Samuel Barber. That's who I'm talking about right now. I was just talking with someone over the weekend about Samuel Barber, so my head is really there. So sitting in the middle of this orchestra under the baton of Samuel Barber, if you can imagine that, and I was so inspired. But that was not aspiration. The aspiration took place when I went home and started practicing harder so I could be a better musician. Inspiration, aspiration. Aspiration is a sudden feeling that there's a magnet that is pulling us up. There's a cosmic magnet. Some people do not know where or what because their brain is too small to know that. But yes, there is a transcendental beauty, a bliss that is pulling us up. Our response to that magnet is aspiration. This is the limitlessness of life. See, this is infinity. When your response to that magnet starts, your progress, you progress on the path of infinity. Unless you have aspiration, which means experiencing the sensation of the divine magnet, the divine presence, you cannot proceed in your life. Life will not let it happen. Life is almost working, this is life with a little l, lowercase l, almost works against aspiration. It says, don't get up, you're too tired. Don't clean your house today, just rest. Take it easy. And then tomorrow you're taking it easy and resting, and then 3 days from now you're taking it easy and resting, and then you rest the rest of your life. See, no aspiration. Without aspiration, we cannot proceed in our life. But once we feel it, or we have felt it, something happens. You know exactly what are values and what are not values. It's not valuable to stay in bed until noon or 1 o'clock. It is not valuable not to clean your house or have someone help you clean your house. It is not valuable to let the weeds grow in your yard or in your life. It is through aspiration we learn what value is. Our path is clear. Our destination is clear, because from that date on, we think and we realize that we are a traveler in cosmic space. So I want to go back to the beginning of what I said. If I can find the beginning. We are not studying about life coming to an end, but about the continuity of life. We realize that we are a traveler on the cosmic space. Aspiration and striving detach you from everything that you realize is not real. The unreal is a source of all kinds of pains. Striving and aspiration, esoterically understood or subjectively understood, make you to see the real from the unreal, the permanent form and the transient form. Then you see your hindrances. So aspiration and striving eventually make us cut our relations with the unreal. The salvation of our conscience and our spiritual future is so valuable. It is so great that we must not hurt our future by attaching to the things that have no value at all. When we are building our future bodies, our future glories, our future globes, systems, and galaxies, we are on the labor of construction. First, we are going to break away from the things that cannot help us construct ourselves. Second, we are going to be drawn to those vital principles and beauty and spiritual values that eventually will build for ourselves a life that we will enjoy eternally in the space for millions of years. Last February, we lost a very valuable member of White Mountain, WMEA. She gave so much of herself to the labor of the group. When I began to miss her and tear up, I quickly stopped myself and remember she built a life for herself where she will eternally enjoy what she will eternally enjoy in space for millions of years. I remind myself of the possibility of her ever-progressing unfoldment. And this should bring us joy. For the one on the path of infinity, everything is a step leading to something else. See? Everything exists to form a part of an ever-expanding whole. Infinity challenges limitless, endless striving. There is an Agni yoga book titled Infinity. In fact, there are 2 volumes titled Infinity. An opening verse in the first volume says, "Is it worthwhile to speak of infinity if it is unattainable? But it does exist, and everything great, even if invisible, compels us to think about the ways to it. Thus, even now, let us ponder about the ways into infinity, for it exists, and it is terrifying if it is not recognized. But even in the earthly life, one can approach and temper the spirit toward acceptance of the unfathomable." This is what got me through this weekend of watching these continual videos and stories and feeling the pain and the suffering and the grief and the loss. Say, wait. All of that happened, but let's look at their future. Our future, infinity. Even in the earthly life, one can approach and can temper the spirit toward acceptance of the unfathomable. And that's from the first volume, opening verse in Infinity 1. So this is what we are doing here today, to recognize that infinity does exist. And it is not only attainable, but sharing a few ideas, not only how to understand infinity, but to strive toward infinity. These 2 books bring to light information about the cosmic magnet. In Infinity 1, paragraph 342, it says this: "The luminaries suffuse the space with their energies and imbue the life of the cosmic seeds. The striving energies can permeate all vital manifestations. Each vital manifestation contributes to the creativeness of the cosmic magnet. The cosmic seeds are the monads, the seeds that are going to travel through evolution. The life of these seeds is imbued with the energy of the luminaries. They act as spiritual vitamins and provide conditions in which they can grow. The cosmic magnet is a huge mechanism in which seeds are created. These seeds in the future are destined to become the molecules of humanity, the planet, the solar system, and galaxy. As, for example, the seed of an oak tree. Think of this. The seed of an oak tree evolves into an oak and produces seeds. A seed for all eternity that evolves and gradually radiates greater beauty. When we think about luminaries that suffuse space with their energy, we know that space is full of many kinds of energies. They not only suffused the space, but penetrate into every single kingdom, into every planet, every animal, every form. This is divine sharing. Though millions of miles away, these energies suffuse the space and all forms. I remember years ago, a person new to the group, we were meditating, and then we were talking about Sirius, of which we had been meditating on. And she said, you know, this is stupid. You know how far away Sirius is? That double star Sirius. It's like Kachinjunga. Well, I'm never going to reach Kachinjunga in my physical body. I can guarantee you that. But even though 27,000 feet high, I reached the summit this morning. Though millions of miles away, these energies suffuse the space in all forms. Each vital manifestation contributes to the creativeness of the cosmic magnet. Each living being and form, from the smallest to the largest, contributes to the creativeness of the cosmic magnet because of its striving and various responsiveness to the energies. The cosmic magnet collects all the strivings, just like our chalice, collects all the strivings and thoughts and ideas of all manifestation and uses them in his creative labor. Not only do great initiates and beings contribute to the creativeness of the cosmic magnet, but so does mankind. Which just comes to mind right now. Who knows why, but I was thinking of Daniel Anton and Agni Yoga Quarterly, which, by the way, is now our new issue, is up on our website. I remember years trying to convince Daniel to write a book about his experiences, and he said, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And then in his later years, yeah, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. Well, he didn't get a chance or an opportunity to do that, so we were putting his words out there in space. He is so positive and so beautiful as a seed of the cosmic magnet. Not only do great initiates and beings contribute to the creativeness of the cosmic magnet, but so does mankind. And Daniel certainly represents mankind, the better part of mankind. So if you don't read anything else in the Agni Yoga Quarterly subscription of magazines, be sure to read Conversations by Daniel Anton. They are so beautiful. Someday we will run out of his words, and when that happens, we'll go back to the beginning and start all over again. I have about 12 to 14 years of his conversations. For those of you who don't know who Daniel Anton was, he was for several years director of the Nicholas Roerg Museum and president of the Agni Yoga Society, both in New York City. Master M says, in the cosmic consciousness, there is a coordination which correlates all the energies, the foundation of which is the impulse of the seed. Thus, the creativeness of the infinite depends upon the life impulse. And that quote is from Infinity 1, paragraph 342. The life impulse of all seeds and manifestations conditions the creativeness of infinity. The infinite creates, but more creativity, more unfoldment of infinity depends on how creation unfolds. Millions of years pass until the creation is ready to add a new creative form in infinity. The universe is the mechanism of the cosmic magnet. Align all cosmic energies with his plan and purpose. Thoughts about infinity slowly open all the gates of human potentials. Thoughts about infinity slowly open all the gates of human potentials. Such thoughts visit us only if we dedicate ourselves to beauty. Beauty is the path through which we travel toward the source. While you are listening to lofty music, enjoying a great painting, recognize, at least strive to contact the infinity in it. An infinity which does not allow our soul to land, but go deeper into the mystery of beauty, the mystery of infinity. Think of this, every beauty is a door to infinity. People love beauty because it reminds them about infinity. And let me close with this. One day a mother, after listening to a girl singing a mantra, whispered in her son's ear, "Do you hear the voice of her angel in her voice? Do you hear the voice of her angel in her voice?" The boy opened his eyes wide and looked at his mother in great surprise. She repeated the question, and he whispered to her, "I heard her song through both of my ears and also my heart." His mother did not answer, but the boy saw the teardrops coming from her eyes. Remember, every beauty is a door to infinity. People love beauty because it reminds them about infinity. Thank you for listening.